Okay, John. So we're going to go a step on with portraits, and we're going to work in charcoal. Can you see that?
Yep, yep.
And we're going to do this lovely man with a beard and using charcoal. And actually charcoal is, if you like, a more easier medium to work with. It's more, if you like, malleable, and you push it around a little bit more than with pencil. So it's a very forgiving medium, and it's great fun. And it's good for all sorts of sketching. So it's quite, but certainly for portraits, it's ideal. And you can create these, you know, the highlights in the beard and the texture in the hair, etc., quite easily. So I'm just going to show you what materials I'm going to use. So charcoal in its simplest form is a stick charcoal, which comes in different sizes. So I'm probably going to be using those two sizes for my charcoal. You can get it really thick as well, but for this, sorry, I'll bring that in a bit.
Just move them over a little tiny bit. Yeah, perfect.
So these two probably are the sizes I'm going to use. You can get a very thick charcoal, but I think unless I'm doing really big areas, that's probably a little bit too thick. The other thing you can use is you can use charcoal, various charcoal pencils, or even a black pastel pencil. In this instance, we're just going to be, I think it's easier just to work on white paper. Traditionally, you could work on a tinted paper as well and then put white in, but I think it's just a nice way of doing it just with a white paper and a piece of charcoal. So if people have a pastel pencil, charcoal pencil, or even charcoal sticks, and then again, the kneadable eraser is very useful. Yeah. So that's going to be some of my demonstration, and then the other
that'll give them a really good handle on actually doing a full face portrait.
And I will go into more detail about the eyes, bone structure, noses, techniques for hair, etc. And obviously what's very important, which I haven't yet mentioned, well, a little bit, with the bones, is the bone structure, how the bone structure to build up the form of the head. So that's, if you like, the full portrait. And then I thought it would be nice to talk a little bit about children's portraits as well. And so far, with the one I'm doing today and with the man with the beard, Solomon, I think his name is, it's all been about adults, but a lot of people want to do portraits of their children and grandchildren. So I'm going to do a little bit of detail in watercolor of Ella, maybe an eye detail, a little bit how to do the hair, and talk about skin tones as well.
Right, wow.
And then maybe on a future class or arty class or masterclass, we could do a child's portrait as well. So it's something for the future, I think.
Wow.
So let me just show you what I'm going to be using for Ella. So if you want to join me with that, I'm suggesting that you have work on watercolor paper and then have these colors. If you have them, lemon yellow, they'll be on the materials list anyhow, but lemon yellow, raw sienna or yellow ochre, a crimson, something like a permanent rose, burnt sienna, and French ultramarine or a cobalt. So with those colours, we can get all the colours we want.
Brilliant, brilliant. So it sounds like we're going to be covering an awful lot in this masterclass. I mean, basically a whole portrait of a man with a beard, which is probably quite complicated in itself, and then also touching on children and colour as well. So it's quite...
Their money's worth. They always what also I'm using are these brushes. So I'm going to be using actually a number 10 round brush. This is not a sable, it's synthetic and sable mix. And then you might want to have a smaller brush as well. So that's for Ella. And the other thing I will use is probably a little bit of masking fluid. Let's bring that in. This actually is, it's a rather scruffy pot, I'm afraid. Not a very clean pot to show you, but it's called blue mask. It's masking fluid, and you can put it on with something as simple as a cocktail stick.
Perfect, perfect. So, and then I think that'll be, it's one of these challenging subjects, isn't it, portraits, that lots of people would like to be able to do, but it's quite difficult to, I mean, it's been really helpful today so far, just doing those eyes, but I think being able to do the full portrait will be a really amazing skill to pick up. You might not be able to master it straight away, but it will certainly be a good...
Just have a go. You'll be surprised what the effects that you can get with charcoal, and how what a good medium it is. A very simple medium, but a really good medium to use for any sort of drawing, and particularly portraits. So
Brilliant.
let's hope that lots of people join us and we'll have fun.
Yeah.
On the 16th,
Yeah, no, I think it will be really good.